I'm attempting the impossible one-season rebuilding challenge. I'm going to give myself 3 attempts to rebuild the team and win them a Stanley Cup in 1 season. In attempt number 1, we're going to be getting the 25th overall pick, and I'm going to be selecting Kirill Kaprizov with that pick. Some of the other notable players that were selected were Hellebuyck, Giroux, and Pavelski. Right now, we're clearly not a Stanley Cup team, but we're about to be after all these moves. I'm sending a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 5th, along with a prospect to Seattle for Seth Jones and Taylor Hall. Also, to make this even harder, I'm only allowed to trade 2022 picks. The trades continue with Gunther going back to Arizona for Ehlers in a 2nd, Strome's off to San Jose for a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 4th, Clark Athanasiou a 2nd and 3rds off to Tampa in a massive move for Aaron Ekblad, and then Quinn's off to Winnipeg for a 2nd. So right now, this team's looking elite. Our defense looks amazing, and I definitely have a lot of faith in our goaltender. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate 10 games, and we'll see how this team's looking. Through the first 10, we're looking fantastic with a 7-3 record. Over the next 15, the team did pretty similar, going 10-5, and we're currently sitting at a 17-8-0 record. Through 50 games, things are looking fantastic, with the team having a 32-15-3 record. We're 1st in the Atlantic and 2nd in the entire league. Pavelski's leading the way with 15 goals and 45 assists for 60 points. Giroux's coming in 2nd with 21 goals and 35 helpers for 56 points. And Kirill Kaprizov's going to round out the top 3 with 25 goals and 22 assists for 47 points. Keith Yandle's leading the defensive points with 4 goals and 25 assists for 29 points. And Hellebuyck's picked up 22 wins with a .909 save percentage and a .256 goals against. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline, and I'm probably going to make a few moves. Over the next 10 games, this team was great, going 8-1-1, and entering the trade deadline, we got to make a few moves. Braun in a 2nd off to St. Louis for Josh Manson, and then I'm making another move with St. Louis, which I'm going to be exchanging a prospect and a 2nd for Evander Kane. So Kane's going to play center so we can get the +5 boost on the 2nd line, and Josh Manson's going to be on the 2nd line defense so we can get a +3 boost. And Hellebuyck, just keep doing your thing. When the season came to an end, we finished with a 53-25-4 record. We're 1st in the Atlantic and 2nd in the entire league. Pavelski led the way with 28 goals and 70 helpers for 98 points. Giroux's coming in 2nd with 29 goals and 57 assists for 86 points, and Kaprizov's coming in 3rd with 40 goals and 43 assists for 83 points. Keith Yandle led the defense in points with 7 goals and 41 helpers for 48 points, and Hellebuyck's picking up 35 wins with a .908 save percentage and a .269 goals against. Leading the entire league in points was Austin Matthews with 58 goals and 52 helpers for 110 points. Scheifele's coming in 2nd with 39 goals and 71 assists for 110 points, and Leon Draisaitl is going to round out the top 3 with 45 goals and 63 assists for 108 points. Oliver Ekman-Larsson is leading all defensemen in points with 19 goals and 55 assists for 74 points, and Fleury's going to lead all goaltenders in wins with 41 while posting a .908 save percentage and a .282 goals against. In the first round, we're going to be taking on the Detroit Red Wings. 3 third-period goals is going to help Detroit take Game 1, but Buffalo is going to dominate Game 2 with an 8-4 win. 5 unanswered from Detroit's going to put them up 2-1, and another 5-goal game from Detroit's putting us on the brink of elimination. But Buffalo's going to avoid elimination with a 7-2 win in Game 5, and then another 8-goal game in Game 6 to force a Game 7. And in Game 7, we're going to take it 6-0, and we're off to the second round. In the second round, we're going to be matching up against the Boston Bruins. An OT winner from Bertuzzi's allowing Boston to take Game 1, but Buffalo's bouncing back in Game 2 with a 6-3 win. A late push from Buffalo is not going to be enough, and Boston's taking Game 3 4-3. Hellebuyck's going to take over in Game 4, and he's going to even the series with a 31 save shutout. A 2-goal game from Lawton puts the Sabres on the brink of elimination, but 4 straight from Buffalo is going to force Game 7 once again. But this time in Game 7, the Bruins are going to come out on top 3-1. With attempt 1 in the books, it's time to give attempt 2 a shot. Attempt 2 started out fantastic as we were incredibly lucky and got the 2nd overall pick. And with the 2nd overall pick, I'm going to select Leon Draisaitl. Some of the other notable players selected alongside Draisaitl were Shesterkin, Kyrou, and Klingberg. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. I'm trying to hit 8,000 subs by the end of the month, and every single sub means a ton. Similar to our first attempt, this isn't the team we're going to win a championship with. We're going to make some massive moves. So I'm sending Gunther to the Rangers for Tuch and Horvat. Clark, Oshie, a 3rd and a 4th is off to Columbus for Morgan Riley and Jared McCann. Coleman's off to Florida for a 2nd and a 6th, and then a 2nd and a prospects off to Boston for Pesce. Nick Leddy's off to Calgary for a 2nd and a 4th, and the Perfetti, 2 seconds and a 5th is off to Boston for Sebastian Aho, another massive move. But the moves aren't done, and we're sending a 1st, fast, Braun and a 4th to Pittsburgh for Wheeler and a 2nd. So this team is clearly much better now. Our defense looks strong, and I have tons of faith in Shesterkin. I'm not worried about him at all. So once again, we're going to simulate through the first 10 games and see how this team's doing. So just like attempt number 1, we're starting off 7-3, but the next 15 were definitely different as this team went 12-3, and we're currently sitting at a 19-6-0 record. Through 50 games, the team's sitting at a 35-14-1 record. We're first in the Central and first in the entire league. Horvat's leading the way with 27 goals and 23 assists for 50 points. Draisaitl's coming in second with 18 goals and 30 assists for 48 points, and Kyrie's going to round out the top three with 17 goals and 31 assists for 48 points. Keith Yandle's leading the defense once again with 7 goals and 26 assists for 33 points, and Shesterkin's picked up 30 wins with a 912 save percentage and a 216 goals against. So we're going to go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline, and I don't expect to make too many moves because this team's looking fantastic right now. Over the next 12, we continue to play great as we went 9-3, and I'm going to make one trade, which is sending a second to Boston for Nemestikov and a third. So now it's time to simulate to the end of the season and go and win ourselves a Stanley Cup. When the season came to an end, we finished with a 58-20-4 record, first in the Central and first in the entire league. Draisaitl led the way with 39 goals and 48 helpers for 87 points. Kyrie's coming in second with 24 goals and 60 helpers for 84 points, and Bo Horvat's coming in third with 40 goals and 38 assists for 79 points. Keith Yandle led the defense in points with 9 goals and 42 assists for 51 points, and Shesterkin's picking up 47 wins with a 925 save percentage and a 206 goals against. Marchand's leading the entire league in points with 44 goals and 56 assists for 100 points. Pasta's coming in second with 43 goals and 54 assists for 97 points, and Connor McDavid's rounding up the top three with 42 goals and 52 assists for 94 points. Victor Hedman's going to lead all defensemen in points with 9 goals and 62 helpers for 71 points, and Shesterkin, he's going to lead all goaltenders in wins, and we already know what his numbers are. In the first round, the Colorado Avalanche are going to be matching up against the Nashville Predators. A late goal from Bo Horvat's going to lead to a 3-1 Game 1 win, but 3 straight from Nashville is going to be too much to overcome, and they're evening the series at 1 game apiece. Nashville's coming out hot in Game 3 as they're having a huge 6-goal game, which is leading to a 2-1 series lead. And once again, 3 straight from Nashville is going to be too much to overcome, and Colorado's on the brink of elimination. And in Game 5, 3 third-period goals is going to lead to Colorado being eliminated in the first round. So attempt 2 was a disaster, so we only got one more chance. So we're down to our final chance, and we're going to get a decent pick here as we're going to get the 11th overall. And with the 11th overall pick, I'm going to be selecting Alexander Ovechkin. Some of the other notable players that were selected were Carey Price, Claude Giroux, and Evgeny Malkin. So we already have our main core here. I just want to make a bunch of small moves to fill out the team. So quick, I'm going to sign you to a $1.3 million per year deal for 1 year. Since I didn't actually draft a good backup goaltender, I'm just going to sign Quick. There's nothing against that in the rules. Edvinsson, a second and a fourth, is off to Columbus for Heiskanen. Leddy's off to Ottawa for a second and a fourth, but I messed up here because I got a 2023 fourth and I can't use it. 2 seconds are off to Washington for Barry and a fourth. Yandle and a fifth is off to Nashville for a second and a fourth. Vesalainen is off to the Rangers for Hartman. A third, a fourth, and a sixth is off to Tampa for Nemestikov. Braun, Perron, Robertson and a fourth is off to St. Louis for Wheeler, Brook, a third and a fourth, and then Brooks off to Vegas for a third and a fourth. Then I'm sending 2 prospects to Seattle for a second. Giordano's getting traded for a second, a third, and a fourth, and then I'm going to ship a second, a third, and a fourth to Montreal for Ty Smith. 2 thirds are headed to Jersey for Bear, and then I'm sending a second and a prospect over to Arizona for Barbanoff and a third. And then a third and a fourth is going to Pittsburgh for Bunting. Yeah, we made a few moves here, so we're looking great right now. Clearly, this team's going to make the playoffs. We just need to win when it matters most. So for the final time in this video, I'm going to sim through the first 10 games, and let's try to go 10-0. Well, we clearly weren't 10-0 as we went 6-4, but the next 15 were much better as we went 11-3-1, and we're currently sitting at a 17-7-1 record. Through the first 50, the team's sitting at a 32-14-4 record. We're first in the Pacific and first in the entire league. Pavelski's leading the way with 18 goals and 37 assists for 55 points. Malkin's coming in second with 19 goals and 33 assists for 52 points, and Alexander Ovechkin's going to round out the top 3 with 24 goals and 23 assists for 47 points. Matthias Ekholm's leading the defense with 7 goals and 25 assists for 32 points, and Price has picked up 27 wins with a 916 save percentage and a 229 goals against. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline, and I'm probably going to make a few moves to fill out the team. Over the next 14, this team struggled, going 7-6-1, so I got to make a move. I'm going to send a second, Nemestikov, and a first to Edmonton for Mangiapane and Gurvanov. So this move definitely makes our depth better, and now I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the end of the season, and hopefully this time we can win a cup. When the season came to an end, we finished with a 48-29-5 record. We were first in the Pacific, but third in the entire league, so that's a bit of a cause for concern. Pavelski's leading the way with 28 goals and 56 assists for 84 points. Malkin's coming in second with 27 goals and 49 assists for 76 points. And Ovi's rounding out the top 3 with 38 goals and 34 assists for 72 points. Barry's leading the defense in points with 15 goals and 36 assists for 51 points. And Price is picking up 39 wins with a 910 save percentage and a 253 goals against. We had a 3-way tie for first with points, with Matthews picking up 46 goals and 54 assists for 100 points, Pasta picking up 21 goals and 59 assists for 100 points, and Nylander picking up 23 goals and 77 assists for 100 points. Roman Josi is going to lead all defensemen in points with 13 goals and 56 assists for 69 points, and Jacob Markstrom's picking up 43 wins with a 927 save percentage and 219 goals against. In the first round, we're going to be taking on the Arizona Coyotes. Arizona's coming out hot in game 1, winning it 4-2, and they continue to roll, taking game 2 3-2. Calgary would avoid falling to a 3-0 deficit with a 3-2 win, and a big 6-2 win from Calgary evens the series at 2 games apiece. A late goal from Heiskanen is going to put us 1 game away from the second round, and an Alexander Ovechkin hat trick is going to send us to the second round. And in the second round, we're matching up against the Anaheim Ducks. A late goal from Benson is going to allow Anaheim to take game 1, and a Varlamov shutout gives the Ducks a 2-0 series lead. And then 5 straight from the Ducks is going to put the Flames on the brink of elimination. However, Calgary is going to avoid elimination with a 3-2 win in game 4, but in game 5, we're falling to a lone goal from Marchman. Honestly, this was way harder than the 0 overall rebuild, because at least with the 0 overall rebuild, I can acquire assets through time, but in this, you got 1 year, and 1 year only.